For this recording, I'm going to show you how to use data entered in Excel to do a t-test paired two-sample analysis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this onto another sheet and then show you how the analysis is done. So we're going to copy. I'm going to add a sheet, and we're going to paste. So here's our data. In the first column is the egg group. Second column is the measurements in millimeters before we started the experiment. And then in the third column is the measurement after 1 week, 1 week after the ultrasound. And then the next column shows the change between the two measurements. So in order to do a data analysis in Excel, you have to go to the Data tab, and then you come over to Data Analysis. I have selected to do a t-test two-sample, assuming unequal variances. So you click OK. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the range 1 is going to be your control, and we're just going to go down and copy the control, highlight it with the cursor, and it will enter the range of cells under variable 1. Variable 2 range, we're going to start, you're going to click, left click, then hold the button down and drag down the bottom, and that's going to give you the next step for your variable 2 range. Okay, so we need to tell it where we want it to put the information at. You can choose another worksheet, but we're just going to put it next to this. So we're going to click here in a cell. I'm sorry, you can go back to the output range, click, and then it'll put that cell number there, and it will put your data here. Then you click OK. Must have done it wrong. Let's cancel. And we'll do two-sample for means. No, that was the one I did. And do OK. This is the one that one messed up. So we're going to go back over here, and we're going to drag down to the end of our control, and it puts the whole column in. Now we're going to click OK. And this is the data from the analysis. Go back up where we can see it. So what this did was it took the first column, the control, and it found the mean, which is the average size. Now this is the average size of the air cell. Then it took the same measurement or did the same analysis on the second group of eggs. Here again, it is the analysis of the measurements, which are the air cell of the eggs. Notice that the mean is different for both groups, which is okay. But we do know what the average is, and we can compare those sizes. So what I did do is I come over here, insert text box, and I put a text box here so that we can make notes. So, and it tells, and I put the date here too. This is January 24th or 25th. Okay, and then we're going to do a text box. If we wanted to add some notes, insert text box here, then we can say this is an analysis of the data collected on January 25th. So it can remind us what it's for. I also like to put a little arrow in. So we know where that box goes to. Okay. So then we're going to do another t-test. Going to go back to data, data analysis. We're going to do the same with the unequal variances. This time we're going to do it on the end weights to see what the variance is there. So we're going to do that one, and then we're going to come back and we're going to get the second column. Now I want my output range to be different because we would do away with this. It would overwrite this information. It would disappear. So we have the next analysis. Now these are the variables of the February 3rd measurements. And these are still the measurements of the air cells, and it's looking at the averages. So these averages are nearly the same. The variances, I did look at the difference of the variance. Oh, this one looks different here now. But we'll look at the difference of the variances when we start comparing the information. I'm also going to do another t-test on the change, because we really want to focus on the change, but we need all of this information. But the change is one more that's impacted. The one that we really want to compare is means. Need to make sure we get all of them. We're going to do that. Now remember, we got to change this output range, because otherwise it's going to overwrite the data we already have, and we don't want that. So this is the change. So we have 3 sets of analysis. We have analyzed the beginning before we did anything to it, and then the change after 1 week, the measurements after 1 week, and we'll compare that information. And then, these are the variables between the 2 groups, the measurements, all of them. So what was a variable mean of the measurements of the control? What was the variable mean of the measurements of the ultrasound treated eggs? This one right here is looking at the data of the change. So this is minus beginning from n. And that is how you do a t-test 2 sample, assuming unequal variances, and we knew these would not be equal variances. So it is very interesting that the variance in the change of group 1 is a lot bigger than the variance in the group 2. We do believe that the variance of the means was because of cracked eggs, but we're not going to assume that yet.